Hello, students. I am Sir Glenn, your subject teacher. Welcome to Pre-Calculus. Our sixth lesson is all about sequences and series. So this is already familiar to all of you since na-discuss siya sa grade 10 mathematics ninyo. Let's try to recall what is a sequence and what is a series. A sequence is a function of domain. It's a set of positive integers or the set beginning from 1 to positive infinity. So take note of that. Laging positive integers yung sinasubstitute natin sa ating sequence, sa general formula ng isang sequence. A series represents the sum of the terms of a sequence. So kapag pinag-add na natin yung terms ng sequence, series na ang tawag doon. So if a sequence is finite, we will refer to the sum of the terms of the sequence as the series associated with the sequence. If the sequence has infinitely many terms, the sum is defined more precisely in calculus. Okay, sa mga magpo-pursue ng STEM courses, STEM-related courses like engineering, matatakal ito sa lesson sa calculus. A series is what you get when you add up all the terms of a sequence. The addition process and also the resulting value are called the sum or the summation. For instance, 1, 2, 3, 4 is a sequence with terms 1, 2, 3, and 4. So as you can see, the terms are just separated using a comma. So sequence ang tawag doon. The corresponding series is the sum 1, 2, 3, and 4. So as you can see, tinanggal na yung comma at nilagay yung addition symbol. And the value of the series is 10. Understood? Sequence separated by comma yung terms. Yung series naman, yung terms ng sequence instead of comma yung ilalagay, positive sign na. So 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. Okay, that is the main difference of a sequence and a series. A sequence is a list of numbers separated by commas, while a series is a sum of numbers separated by plus or the minus sign. As an illustration, 1, negative 1 half, 1 third, negative 1 fourth is a sequence. And 1 minus 1 half plus 1 third minus 1 fourth is equal to 7 over 12 is its associated series. The sequence with nth term is usually denoted by a sub n, and the associated series is given by s sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus a sub 2 plus a sub 3 up to a sub n, or the last term. Difference between sequence and a series. So it is presented in this table. So yung sequences, it is a set of elements that follow a pattern. Yung series naman, sum of elements of the sequence. Order of elements is important kasi yung terms na iyan, it will be used in solving several problems. So dapat yung first term laging nasa umpisa, followed by the second term, the third term. Hindi siya pwedeng i-rumble. Yung series naman, order of elements is not so important since we just add the terms of the sequence. We just try to obtain the sum of the elements of a sequence. Finite sequence, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Finite series, we have 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. Infinite sequence separated by comma. Infinite series separated by the plus symbol. A finite series is the sum of the first n terms of a sequence. It is also referred to as the nth partial sum of a sequence. An infinite series is the sum of all the terms of an infinite sequence. So, finite siya, meaning may katapusan. Alam natin yung last term. Infinite naman siya kapag hindi natin alam yung last term, kapag meron siyang symbol na ganito sa dulo. Okay? So, there are several types of sequence and series. So the types which are presented here are the arithmetic sequence, geometric, infinite geometric, harmonic, and Fibonacci. Let's start with the arithmetic sequence. An arithmetic sequence is a sequence in which each term after the first is obtained by adding a constant called the common difference to the preceding term. Ibig sabihin, arithmetic siya kapag meron silang common difference. Makukuha yung susunod na term by adding that specific constant doon sa naunang term, and so on. Okay? If the nth term of an arithmetic sequence is a sub n, and the common difference is d, then a sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. The associated arithmetic series with n terms is given by s sub n is equal to n times a sub 1 plus a sub n all over 2. We can use this kapag given yung n, yung number of terms, given yung first term, last term. Pero kapag hindi given yung mga bagay-bagay na yan, we can also use this other formula. Same lang din sila. So kapag ang given ay yung first term, yung value ni n at value ni common difference, we can use this formula. N times twice the first term plus n minus 1 times the common difference d all over 2. For the geometric sequence, so a geometric sequence is a sequence in which each term after the first is obtained by multiplying the preceding term by a constant called the common ratio. So as compared kay arithmetic, sa geometric sequence naman meron siyang common ratio. Kapag divide mo yung term, yung term na ito sa kanyang sinundan na term, kapag ginawa mo yun all throughout, it will give you a specific constant called the common ratio. If the nth term of a geometric sequence is a sub n and the common ratio is r, then the formula is a sub n is equal to a sub 1 times r raised to n minus 1. The associated geometric series with n terms is given by this formula. S sub n is equal to n times a sub 1 if the ratio is 1, and a sub 1 times 1 minus r raised to n all over 1 minus r if the ratio is not equal to 1. Infinite geometric series. So when r is in between negative 1 and 1, the infinite geometric series can be solved. The sum can be solved and is given by s is equal to a sub 1 times 1 minus r. This is the formula in solving for the sum of an infinite geometric series. So kapag nakita mo na yung terms, ang kanyang common ratio ay in between negative 1 and 1, we can use this formula to identify the sum of that infinite geometric series. For the harmonic sequence, a sequence whose reciprocals form an arithmetic sequence is called a harmonic sequence. The general rule for harmonic sequence is a sub n is equal to 1 all over a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. So as you can see, this is the formula in identifying the terms for an arithmetic sequence. So reciprocal, kapag reciprocal na ng arithmetic sequence, harmonic sequence na ang tawag doon. Okay? For the Fibonacci sequence, a sequence which is not either arithmetic nor geometric sequence is called the Fibonacci sequence. The next term after the first two terms is obtained by adding the two preceding terms. So makukuha yung next na terms after doon sa naunang dalawang terms by adding the two preceding terms. The nth term of a Fibonacci sequence can be obtained by the formula a sub n is equal to a sub n minus 1 plus a sub n minus 2 for n which is greater than 2. Okay? Example, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and 13. So, given yung first two terms, para makuha yung third term, we add the two preceding terms. 1 plus 1 is 2. Para makuha yung next na term, we add the two preceding terms. 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13, and so on and so forth. So this is an example of a Fibonacci sequence. For the examples, example 1, identify whether the following sequences are arithmetic sequence, geometric sequence, harmonic sequence, or Fibonacci sequence. For the solution, watch this video. In this example, we identify which type of sequence are the following. So, item A, we have 1/3, 1 all over 5, 1 all over 7, 1 all over 9, and 1 all over 11. So, since 1 lahat ng kanyang numerator, it's possible na harmonic siya. So, paano siya magiging harmonic? Harmonic siya kapag yung kanyang denominators ay arithmetic sequence, yung may common difference sa kanilang denominators. So let's try to identify. We have uh, 11 minus 9 is 2, 9 minus 7 is 2, 7 minus 5 is 2, and 5 minus 3 is 2. Since yung denominators niya ay mayroong common difference which is 2, definite, 1 yung numerators nila, reciprocals ito ng isang arithmetic sequence. So therefore, this is a harmonic sequence. Harmonic sequence. Second one, we have 2. The terms are 2, 7, 12, 17, and 22. So let's try to identify kung may common difference silang lahat. We have 22 minus 17 is 5, 17 minus 12 is 5, 12 minus 7 is 5, and 7 minus 2 is 5. Since my common difference, which is 5, this is an arithmetic sequence. Third example, we have negative 1, 2, 1, 3, 4, 7, and 11. So let's try to identify kung may common difference. We have 11 minus 7 is 4, 7 minus 4 is 3. So wala siyang common difference. Let's try to identify if may common ratio sila. So 11 divided by 7, 7 divided by 4, magkaibang value na yun. So wala silang common ratio. So since the deriving second term, by adding the two first terms at yung succeeding terms na derive by adding the two terms na nauna sa kanila, ibig sabihin this is a Fibonacci sequence. Fibonacci sequence. So yung last na item, let's try to identify kung mayroon siyang a common difference. So 16 minus 8 is 8. 8 minus 4 is 4. So wala silang common difference. Let's try to identify kung mayroon silang common ratio. 16 divided by 8 is 2. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 divided by 1 is 2. And 1 divided by 1 half is 2. Since mayroon silang common ratio, ibig sabihin this is a geometric sequence. Understood? Example number 2, find the first 5 terms and the S sub 5 or the associated sum of these terms of each of the defined sequence. For the solution, watch this video. So in this example, we find the first 5 terms and give the sum of these 5 terms. So yung unang item, we have 2 raised to n plus 3. So how to identify the first or the terms of a sequence? We use natural numbers. So we have a sub 1 is equal to 2 raised to 1 plus 3. That will be 2 raised to 1 plus 3 is 4. So that will be 2 raised to 4 is 16. So the first term is 16. So if the second term we have 2 raised to 2 plus 3, that will be 2 raised to 5 or 32. The third term we have 2 raised to 3 plus 3 is 6. This is 64. Pang-apat na term, we have 2 raised to 4 plus 3 is 7. This is 128. And the fifth term, we have a raised to 5 is equal to 2 raised to 5 plus 3 is 8. That is 256. So to obtain the sum of these terms, we add the terms that we obtained, the first 5 terms, we have 16 plus 32 plus 64 plus 128 plus 256. So that will give us 496. So therefore, the first 5 terms are 16, 32, 64, 128, and 256. And S sub 5, or the sum of the first 5 terms, we have 496. Second example, n minus 2 all over n plus 5. So we have n sub 1, we have 1 minus, if n is 1, 1 minus 2 is negative 1 all over 1 plus 5 is 6. A sub 2 is 2 minus 2 is 0. 0 divided by any number is always 0. If n is 3, for the third term, we have 3 minus 2 is 1. And 3 plus 5 is 8. A sub 4, we have 4 minus 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. And then 4 plus 5 is 9. And the last term, we have 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. Then 5 plus 5 is 10. To add these terms to obtain s sub 5, we have negative 1, 6 plus 1 all over 8 plus 2 all over 9. So I'll just use this space here. And then plus 3 all over 10. So to obtain the LCD, so let's try to identify the LCD. So we have the factors of 6, 8, 9, and 10. We have, this will be 2 and 3. This will be 2 and 2 and 2. This will be 3 and 3. Then 10 is 2 and 5. So bringing down everything, we have 2 times 3 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. So the LCD is 2 times 3 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. We have 360. So the LCD is 360. We have 360 divided by 6 is 60. 60 times negative 1 is negative. 360 divided by 8 is 45. 45 times 1 is 45. So 360 divided by 9 is 40. 40 times 2 is 80. And 360 divided by 10 is 36. Times 3, we have 100. So adding the terms in the numerator, we have 173 all over 60. So that is the sum of the first 5 terms of the example item B. So I'll just erase this. For the third item, we have the sub 1 is if n is 1, we have 1 squared. What negative 3 times 1 is negative 3, then plus 2. So that will be 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. E sub 2, if n is 2, we have 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6 plus 2. So that is negative 6 plus 4 is 2. 2 plus 2 is negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. If n is 3, we have n squared is 9. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. And then plus 2. That will be, this will be cancelled. The answer is 2. The fourth term, we have if n is 4, 4 squared is 16. And 4 times negative 3 is negative 12 plus 2. So that will be 16 minus 12 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. And for the fifth term, we have 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times negative 3 is negative 15. Then plus 2. So that will be 25 minus 15 is 10. 10 plus 2 is 12. So solving for the sum of these terms, we have 0 plus 0 is 0. Plus 2 is 2. 2 plus 6 is 8. 8 plus 12 is 20. So this is the sum of the first 5 terms. Lastly, for the fourth item, the first term, if n is 1, then we have 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 cube is 8. If n is 2, we have 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 cube is 27. If a sub 3, if n is 3 for the third term, we have 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 cube is 64. If n is 4 for the fourth term, we have 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 cube is 125. And if n is 5 for the fifth term, we have 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 cube is 216. So So adding these terms to obtain uh, their sum, we have 8 plus 27 plus 64 plus 125 plus 216. So that will be 440. So this is how we obtain the number of terms that is being asked and to obtain the sum of these terms. Understood? Example number 3, find the sum of all multiples of 5 between 1 and 100. For the solution, watch this video. In this example, we find the sum of all multiples of 5 between 1 and 100. So, ano yung mga numbers na multiples ni 5 in between 1 and 100? So, syempre, hindi multiple ni 5 si 1, hindi multiple ni 5 si 2, 3, 4. So, mag-start yung multiple niya kay 5. Okay, so 5. And then, next na multiple ni 5 kay 5 ay 10. And then 15 up to, syempre, kabilang si 100 kasi si 100 ay multiple din ni 5. So, definitely, ang nabuo, this is an example of an arithmetic sequence kasi mayroon siyang common difference. So, yung kanyang common difference ay, yung common difference niya, obviously, which is D, ay equivalent kay 5. So, since we are asked to identify the sum of all terms, let's use the given. Meron na tayong given na common difference. Alam natin yung first term, which is 5. Alam natin yung nth term, which is 100. So, definitely, we can use this formula. S sub n is equal to n times e sub 1 plus e sub n all over 2. So, meron na tayong a sub 1, meron na tayong a sub n. Ang kulang na lang natin ay yung value ni n. Papaano hahanapin yung value ni n? Since we already have this given information, we can substitute this information doon sa general formula ng ating arithmetic sequence. So, ano yung formula niya? We have a sub n is equal to a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. So, we solving for n here, we have a sub n. So, we substitute a sub n here. A sub n is 100. So, 100 is equal to a sub 1 is 5 plus n minus 1 times d is 5. So, solving for that, we have this will be 100 is equal to 5. We distribute 5 to all the terms here. 5 times n is 5n. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. So, automatic na matatanggal na yan. So, we have 100 is equal to 5n. Divide both sides by 5. So, we have n is equal to 100 divided by 5 is 20. So, the number of multiples ni 5 in between 1 and 100 ay 20. So, we can now solve for the sum. So, solving for s sub 20, we have s sub 20 is equal to n is 20 times a sub 1 is 5 plus a sub n is 100 all over 2. So, we can cancel this out. 20 divided by 2 is 10. So, we have 10 times 5 plus 100 is 105. So, 10 times 105 is 1,050. This is the sum of all multiples of 5 between 1 and 100. Understood? Example number 4. Find x so that x minus 1, 2x minus 2, and 3x plus 6 are terms of a geometric sequence. For the solution, watch this video. In this example, we find the value of x so that x minus 1, 2x minus 2, and 3x plus 6 are terms of a geometric sequence. So, alam naman natin na yung geometric sequence, mayroon siyang tinatawag nating common ratio. So, if the terms of our geometric sequence are a sub 1, a sub 2, and a sub 3, ang ratio niya ay A sub 3 all over A sub 2, equivalent siya ni ratio nilang dalawa. We have A sub 2 all over A sub 1. So, in this case, this will be A sub 1, ito yung A sub 2, at ito yung A sub 3. In order for us to identify the common ratio, let's try to use this formula and we substitute the given. Okay, so solving for R, we have A sub 3 is, uh, that is 3x plus 6 all over A sub 2, which is 2x minus 2, is equal to A sub 2 is 2x minus 2, and A sub 1 is x minus 1. So, since equal silang dalawa, we cross multiply, that will be 2x minus 2 squared is equal to 3x plus 6 times this one, x minus 1. So, squaring this binomial, we have the first term of the trinomial. The resulting trinomial is 4x squared. The middle term will be twice the product of the first and the second term of the binomial. We have 2x times negative 2 is negative 4x times 2 is negative 8x. And then the last term will be the sum of the square of the last term of the binomial. So negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. So for the terms here on the right side of the equal symbol, distribute each term to the terms of the binomial next to this one. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times negative 1 is negative 3x. 6 times x, we have 6 times x is 6x plus 6x. And then 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. So simplifying everything, we have 4x squared minus 8x plus 4. That will be 3x squared plus 3x kasi 6 minus 3 is 3, and then minus 6. Since quadratic equation yung nakuha sa magkabilang sides, we transpose everything from the right going to the left to combine similar terms. So 4x squared, we just bring down 4x squared, transpose positive 3x, it will be negative 3x squared. We bring down negative 8x, transpose positive 3x, it will be negative 3x. We bring down positive 4, so we transpose negative 6, that will be positive 6, at 0 ang may iwan. So combining similar terms, we have 4 minus 3 is 1, or we simply write x squared. Negative 8 minus 3 is negative 11x. And 4 plus 6 is positive 10, which is equal to 0. So this is factorable. Factoring it out, we have x minus 10 and x minus 1 is equal to 0. Using the zero factor property, after obtaining the factors, you can equate both factors to 0. We have x minus 10 is equal to 0 and x minus 1 is equal to 0. Solving for x here, we have x is equal to 10 and x is equal to 1. Since dalawa yung nakuha natin, let's try to substitute each value of x dun sa ating given. Kung ang resulta ay mayroong common ratio, then well and good, it is a geometric sequence. Yun yung valid na value ni x. Pero kung hindi geometric sequence, walang common ratio yung naging kinalabasan ng terms after substituting the value of x, ibig sabihin, hindi siya geometric sequence. So, if x is equal to 10, we have 10 minus 1. The terms are x minus 1, 10 minus 1 is 9. 10 times 2 is 20, 20 minus 2 is 18. 10 times 3 is 30, plus 6 is 36. So, may common ratio ba sila? 36 divided by 18 is 2. 18 divided by 9 is 2. So, this is a geometric sequence. Ibig sabihin, this is an answer. Ito rin natin si 1. If x is equal to 1, then we have 1 minus 1 is 0. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 minus 2 is 0. 3 times 1 plus 6 is 9. So, since kapag sinubukan natin kunin yung kanyang common ratio, it will give us undefined as a result. 9 divided by 0 is undefined, therefore hindi ito geometric sequence. This part not a geometric sequence. So ibig sabihin hindi to kabilang. Ang sagot lang natin dito ay x is equal to 10. Understood? Example number 5. A family saves 1,000 in January, 1,200 in February, and 1,400 in March, and so on. How much will they save in 1 year? For the solution, watch this video. So in this example, we try to solve this problem. A family saves 1,000 pesos in January, 1,200 in February, 1,400 in March, and so on. How much will they save in 1 year? So, as you can see, mayroon silang common difference. So, ang common difference nila ay 200. So, ibig sabihin, since may common difference sila, this is an example of an arithmetic sequence. So, ang ating nakuhang value, we have the common difference is 200. So, yung a sub 1 natin ay 1,000. And then, alam natin yung n. Kasi, ang sinabi dun sa problem, magkano daw yung masisave ng family sa isang taon. We know naman na sa isang taon, there are 12 months. So, n is equal to 12. So, we already have the value for the common difference, the first term, and the value of the n. We can substitute everything sa formula na s sub n is equal to n times 2a sub 1 sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d all over 2. Okay, so substituting these information sa ating formula, we have s sub 12 is equal to 12 times 2 times the first term is 1,000 plus we have 12 minus 1 times the common difference is 200 all over 2. So we can divide this term dito sa ating divisor. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So that will give us 2 times 1,000 is 2,000. Plus, we have 12 minus 1 is 11. 11 times 200 is 2,200. That will be 6 times 2,000 plus 2,200. That is 4,200. So multiplying that, we have 4,200 times 6. That will be 25,200. Therefore, yung masisave ng family sa isang taon ay 25,200 pesos. Understood? Example number 6. Determine the first 5 terms of each defined sequence and give their associated series. For the solution, watch this video. In this example, we give the first 5 terms of the following sequences, and we also give their associated series. So, in example A, item A sub 1 is, if n is 1, 1 times negative 2 is negative 2, negative 2 raised to 1 is still negative 2. If n is 2, then negative 2 times 2 is negative 4, negative 4 raised to 2, that will be positive 16. If a sub 3, if n is 3 for the third term, we have 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Negative 6 times 3 is negative 216. If n is 4, we have 4 times negative 2 is negative 8, negative 8 raised to 4, that is 4096. And if n is 5, then negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. Negative 10 times negative 10 raised to 5, that is negative 100,000. So the associated series for uh, this these terms, we have negative 2 plus 16 minus 216 plus 4096 minus 100,000. So if we combine these terms, it will give us negative 96,106 as the value for the series. Second item, we have 5n minus 2. So the first term is if n is 1, then 5 times 1 is 5, minus 2 is 3. The second term, 5 times 2 is 10, 10 minus 2 is 8. The third term, we have 5 times 3 is 15, minus 2 is 13. The fourth term is 5 times 4 is 20, minus 2 is 18. And the fifth term, we have 5 times 5 is 25, minus 2 is 23. So the associated series for these terms, we have 3 plus 8 plus 13 plus 18 plus 23. So adding these five terms, it will give us 65 as the value for the associated series. Understood? Example number 7. Identify which series are the following and determine the associated sum. For the solution, watch this video. In this example, we identify the type of series and determine the associated sum. So, let's try to identify kung may common difference. So, we have uh, 2 minus negative 3 is positive 5. Negative 3 minus negative 8 is positive 5. Since my common difference, which is 5, the common difference is 5. So therefore, this is an example of arithmetic series. So be careful in writing your answer since sa instruction, hanapin daw kung anong klaseng series. Okay? So, we have e sub 1 is negative 8 and e sub n is, this will be 42. So, para mahanap natin yung value ni n, we substitute these information sa formula na e sub n is equal to e sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. So, this is to solve for n. So, we substitute, this is n. We substitute everything here in the formula. So, e sub n is 42. E sub 1 is negative 8 plus n minus 1 times the common difference is 5. So we bring down 42, we bring down negative 8, we transpose 5 to all the terms inside the parentheses. 5 times n is positive 5n, 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. So we bring down 42, we combine negative 8 and negative 5, that is negative 13 plus 5. And since equal silang dalawa, we can interchange their positions. This will be negative 13 plus 5n is equal to 42. Constant term ito, ililipat natin siya sa right. So we have 5n is equal to 42 plus 13. So that will be 5n is equal to 42 plus 13 is 55. Divide both sides by 5. So we have n is equal to 11. So we already have the value of n. So for us to identify the sum of this series, we have s sub 11. We use this formula, s sub n is equal to n times e sub 1 plus e sub n all over 2. So n is 11, so 11 is equal to 11 times e sub 1 is negative 8. E sub n is 42 all over 2. That will be 42 minus 8, that is 34 all over 2. So 34 divided by 2 is 17. 17 times 11 is 187. So therefore, the sum, the associated sum is 187. For the second item, there are only three terms given, and then infinity na siya, infinite series na siya. So 4 plus 2 plus 1 to infinity. So i-try nga natin yung kung may common ratio sila. So 1 divided by 2 is 1 half. 2 divided by 4 is 1 half. So ang common ratio nila ay 1 half, which is in between 0 and 1. So definitely this is an example of an infinite geometric series. So of course it will take the form S is equal to E sub 1 all over 1 minus R. That will be the formula in identifying the sum of the infinite geometric series. So we already have the value of E sub 1. E sub 1 is 4. So 4 all over 1 minus R is 1 half. That will be just solving for S. We have 4 all over 1 minus 1 half is 1 half. So 4 all over 1. So times yung operation maging multiplication. Then the divisor, we will get the reciprocal of it. So 1 half, the reciprocal is 2. Therefore, the value of S here is 8. For the last item, we identified the type of series for this one. The terms are 3 plus 12 plus 48 up to the last term, which is 12,288. So let's try to identify if may common ratio siya. We have 48 divided by 12 is 4. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So my common ratio siya, which is 4. So definitely, at meron siyang last term, this is a finite geometric series, or let's just write here geometric series. So since geometric siya, ang formula niya ay S sub n is equal to A sub 1 times 1 minus R raised to n all over 1 minus R. So we already have the value of the first term. We already have the value of R. What's missing is the value of n. So for us to solve for n, we use the formula for geometric sequence. We have A sub 1 times R raised to n minus 1. A sub n, the last term, we have 12,288. The first term is 3. Then the value of R is 4 raised to n minus 1. So divide both sides by 3 para matanggal yung 3 dito. So we have 4 raised to n minus 1 is equal to 12,288 divided by 3 is 40,096. Continuing the process, we have 4,096 can be written in terms of 4 as the base. So 4,096 is equivalent to 4 raised to 6. Since equal na sila ng base, we can disregard the bases and then we bring down the exponents. N minus 1 is equal to 6. Transposing negative 1, it will give us positive 1. So n is 7. We already have the value of n, so we can now solve for S sub 7, or the sum of the associated series. So using this formula, we have S sub 7 is equal to A sub 1 is 3 times 1 minus R is 4 raised to 7 all over 1 minus R, or 1 minus 4. This will be 3 times 1 minus 4 raised to 7 is 16,384 all over 1 minus 4 is negative 3. Maka-cancel na yan. May iwan na yung negative 1 sa baba. So 1 minus 16,384 is negative 16,383 divided by negative 1, 16,383. So therefore, this is the associated sum of the given series. Understood? For the activities, Do activity 1 on page 11, activity 2 on page 12, activity 3 on page 17, activity 4 on page 17, activity 5 on pages 17 to 18, activity 6 on pages 18 to 19, and performance task on page 19. Submission of all these activities will be until Monday.